Yeah, if you miss this turnoff, you're an idiot. You shouldn't have an RV.
Exactly. I think the signage is very nice.
I do.
I think they're excited to see us.
Okay, welcome to this week's episode of Luv Subbin, and it is August, and what does that mean?
It means it's almost time for the International Rally.
Yes, this will be our 7th International Rally, and we have done everything from full hookup glamping at Rock Springs, Wyoming to
going 3 amps, and that's it.
Yeah, so think about it. For those of you that are like, oh my God, we're 30 amp here at York, we survived 3 amp in Burlington, Vermont, where for 3 days the temperature was above 95 degrees.
Yeah.
So if we can survive that,
yep,
we can survive just about everything, right?
Right. So this video is going to be about giving some tips on what to bring and what to expect, and maybe some tips on how to make it very stress-free.
Yeah, we want it to be stress-free for everybody. So we'll be going through some arrival information, how to hook up water, what you'll need, electric, what you'll need, how the pump outs will work, and some random tips.
Yep.
So let's go ahead and start with the arrival video. All right, let's talk about arriving at the International Rally.
So a couple days before everybody starts coming in, we're going to be putting out a video that shows the actual process of going in and what it looks like and what to expect. But if you don't have that quite yet and you want to see what it looks like generally, you can check out our older playlists of some of our older rallies.
So you can kind of get a general feel. One of the things that people talk a lot about is, how do I park next to my friends?
To do that, it's important to meet off the site with your friend so you can come in together.
If you don't come in together, you're not going to camp together. And you know what? Luv Subbin's advice is, don't camp with your friends, because one of the things about International is meeting new folks from everywhere. Why do I want to be camped next to the same people I'm camping with, where I could have somebody from Texas on one side, somebody from California on the other side, and somebody from Idaho across from us?
And that's a great way to get some local knowledge as far as some things to visit if you go to one of their states.
Yep, we love it. So do as you want, though.
Yep.
Okay, the next thing you have to have is make sure you have your ACI badges.
Yes. So that's the way you're going to be hanging your International Rally ticket.
Yeah, so it's basically your ticket. So if you're not going anywhere between now and then, go ahead and throw these in the glove compartment.
Or in your Airstream.
And you'll be ready.
Yep.
Okay, the next big thing is to have your BRNs displayed for the arrival team when you show up.
Right. They have to be able to see a couple of Airstreams ahead of time, your big red numbers, so they can have that little packet ready for you when you pull up.
We love displaying our big red numbers on our end caps. We've had them there for 23 years. We love it. But you don't have to. There are lots of different ways that you can display your big red numbers to help out their arrival teams, such as these right here.
So what do you think? Would this work?
That one's also okay. How about this? Is even this okay?
Yes, that's okay. So I'm not sure if that's okay. There's 2 problems with this one. This could be a potential traffic hazard, and I'm not sure these would be very visible far away.
All right, we'll give you, that one might be a stretch.
Yes.
All right, how should you arrive with regards to your water system?
You should be arriving with a full fresh water tank and empty black and gray tanks.
And why should you do this? Well, first of all, we always travel with a full fresh water tank and empty gray tanks. But for the International, you'll never know what could happen. You might have to sit there and sit around for quite some time and need to use the facilities.
Right, or you might arrive too late to get parked that day and have to overnight in their little overnighting area.
Right, but more importantly, we're going to talk about it later as far as pump outs. You want to be able to stretch out your tankage as long as you can. It's going to be a little bit different.
Yeah.
So you don't want to show up with a half or full tanks. Has it ever happened before?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
And so they do have a procedure for that, but you don't want to be doing that.
You don't want to be that person.
Yeah.
So show up with those empty tanks.
Correct.
Let's talk about the water hookup that we're going to have at the York, Pennsylvania Fairgrounds. It's going to be different if you were then at Sedalia or at Rock Springs. It is going to be something called daisy chaining, which might not seem intuitive, especially even if you read the FAQs. So let's go ahead and take a video of us at the Lebanon International Rally, which will show a good idea of how daisy chaining works. Let's go back in time. You can see through one spigot, we're feeding at least right now 3 different Airstreams. We've got a Y connector,
This is going to go off to feed more Airstreams. This Y connector is feeding this guy here, and then this one is going off to mine with my water filter here. My hose will then run down to our neighbor's Y fitting. So that hose will come down here. His hose will feed his Airstream, and then my hose
continues on.
Will feed mine.
All right, so if you saw from that one video, the key point here that everybody needs to take away is that you need 2 lengths of 25-foot hose, okay? So we carry with us one 50-foot hose. That's not going to cut it, because if you saw from the video, you're going to go from one Y over, and then you're going to use another Y and all that other stuff. You need 2 25-foot lengths, or at least say a 25-foot length and a 10-foot length or something like that. But if you show up with just one 25-footer, that's not going to work.
But would 50 feet work? One 50-foot.
Yeah, if you show up with one 50-footer, that won't work.
Okay.
You need 2 25s.
So 2 of something.
2 of something.
Okay.
Right. So 2 25s would be best, because again, you never know the hookups, how far away they're going to be. So we'll probably end up with another. We have a spare 25-foot hose at home. We're going to bring that along with us, which we normally don't do.
Okay.
Because our air gear coil hose is perfect.
Okay.
All right, can you use a water filter? Yes, you can use a water filter. You saw me doing that at Lebanon. Can you use a pressure reducer? They say you can use a pressure reducer. I would avoid that unless the pressure is above 65 psi.
Which it shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be, but we're going to be testing it.
Yep.
Again, we'll have that video. We'll show it to you when we get there.
Yep.
And let you know what the water pressure is. But that's why we always test our water pressure. If it's above 65, we'll put the reducer on. If it's below 65, we won't. Okay, the Y connectors are kind of important. And there's 2 different types of Y connectors. There's the unrestricted Y, which is the best one. And then there's the restricted Y, which has these little turn-off valves.
But make sure whatever Y connector you bring is for potable water.
That's the key. So a Y connector that's unrestricted, that's not meant for potable water, you don't want that. I almost always, at every international, even though they'll tell you to use these, I use the restricted so that I can turn off water if I need to. I personally like these. These also work well.
Okay.
So you're going to need 2 25-foot hose, a water filter, some Y connectors, and we'll be daisy chaining. Okay, let's talk the electrical hookups, and like we did before, let's go ahead and see what it looked like at the Lebanon rally as to how we hooked up our power at that particular rally.
We're very happy here at Lebanon to have 30 amp electricity. Our first international rally was in 2003, and we only had 3 amp electricity, which was only enough to charge your batteries. But here we have 30 amp, but they still recommend bringing 2 25-foot lengths, and you can see why here. So we're running our normal cord. And unlike at Doswell had those boxes that we're showing here that were done from a distribution panel where everybody was able to hook up. Here at Lebanon, we actually have these somewhat pedestals, and you can see I've hooked up, and the height of the pedestal precludes me using my Hughes Autoformer. Yeah. So in this case, I'm using my Power Watchdog. But
so,
this is kind of nice.
So at the pedestal, there are 3 outlets, correct?
Right, and these are kind of nice because, you know, these are made for RV outlets instead of the club having to provide their own electrical distribution.
So who gets the top one?
I don't know. Whoever hooks up first gets the one they choose.
Oh, okay. So
and
someone
I think this one might not get used.
I don't know. Someone could park here, right?
So it is a 30 amp connections. Okay, so if you're a 30 amp rig like us, no problem, you can plug right in. But if you are a 50 amp rig, in other words, you've got 2 air conditioners on your roof, you will need to have a dog bone. And a dog bone is something that will allow you to plug that 30 amp connection into your 50 amp rig. And remember, that doesn't mean you have 50 amp service. Now that you've plugged in your dog bone, you still only have 30 amps.
It's basically an adapter that allows you to plug into a 30 amp service.
If you try and go 31 amps, you're going to blow the breaker. So even though you might have a 50 amp rig. So the thing is, you know, I got onto Airstream Addicts and searched as I expected. and I searched, can I run my 2 air conditioners on 30 amp? And there was a mixture of yeses and nos, but don't be that person that tries. If you've been able to run your air conditioner on 30 amps with 2 of them, don't be that person in International.
Because you're gonna take the breaker out, and everybody's gonna be without power while they fix the breaker.
Yeah, exactly. So go ahead, and Cindy will give you some tips here shortly on how to keep your rig cool, but it's going to be a 1 air conditioner event. The next thing is, can I use my surge protector or my auto former when I'm hooking up at International? The answer to that is yes, and you should.
And it's being encouraged.
Yes. The other thing is, you should always have 2 25-foot lengths of cord, your primary cord to your rig, and then an extension cord. This type of extension cord, no work for 30 amp air conditioning. So you can't have one of these 20 amp small little cords. You need a 30 amp.
Or you can use a 50 amp.
Or you can use a 50 amp, exactly. The question is, can I use my 50 amp surge protector on my 30 amp circuit? And the answer to that is yes, you can. The spikes in voltage will still trip if all of a sudden you had a massive thing, it still works. So you don't need to go out and buy a 30 amp surge protector. Your 50 amp surge protector will still work.
All your 50 amp gear will work, and that's the reason you have the dog bone to convert it.
Yep. So other than that, let's go inside, and Cindy will show you some tips and tricks for keeping cool in case you have to run that 1 air conditioner.
So a couple of tips to keep your Airstream cooler while you have 1 air conditioning going is that we use Reflectex on the windows, including the front door. We have them cut to match all their windows.
Yeah, except for the front ones, because we think the sunglasses do a pretty good job of reflecting the heat.
Yes, correct. So we do put the Reflectex in the windows. So also we found the vent covers to be very helpful. They keep the sun out. And
we have a whole video on the installation of that, right?
Yeah, we have a whole video on the installation of that.
We're liking them.
Yeah, we're liking them a lot. And we also keep our shades drawn. And also, if you can partition off the areas that you're not using with your air conditioning, that helps as well.
Yep. Good tips.
So it's been a few years since we had pump outs at an international rally, the last one being in Freiburg, Maine. So it might be a little bit unusual or new to people. So let's go ahead and first start off by taking a look at an example of a pump out that occurred at the Doswell, Virginia rally.
All right, it's Tuesday morning, and we've got a blue dot on the back of our Airstream. That means it's pump out day. So this company is going to come by, and the sanitation crew.
There they are hooking us up. So as you can see, it's pretty easy. You don't even need to be there. I happen to be there to talk to the folks, but you know, if you want to go off one day, tanks will be full. You'll show up in the afternoon, and it'll read that glorious 00, which everybody wants to see. Now, how will you know what day your pump out is? I can't tell you that right now. I don't know, but the CVent app will certainly have some information. You can ask the question. The sanitation crew is awesome.
Yep.
And they will definitely be able to kind of give you a feel for when that pump out day for you will be.
Usually, and this is not always the case, but usually it depends on the day that you arrive. So if you arrive on Thursday, you'll have a different pump out schedule than from someone who has arrived on Saturday.
Exactly. It's usually approximately every 4 days or so, plus or minus. So,
and they'll put a sticker on your window, usually, and they will check it off when you get your pumps outs.
So one final comment on pumping out is that we always carry our Blue Boy portable tote tank, just in the off chance that, for example, let's just say you accidentally left a faucet on, or somehow something happened in which you filled your gray tank a day or two after. We have the ability to drain. There is a dump station at York, and so you can go ahead and put your portable Blue Boy tank, drain it away,
and tow it off.
Also kind of gives you that sense of reducing the stress, so that if you do go a little bit over, you're new to it, you don't know how to fill your tanks, how long that'll take, having that Blue Boy is a good thing. We carry it no matter where we go.
So tips for conserving water so that you can last that 4-day period. It's not hard. We have lasted, what, 5 days, 6 days?
6 days, yeah. I mean, you can do it.
Yeah, it can be done. And so it's a question of conserving water. You don't want to take these Hollywood showers. You want to take a Navy shower. And a Navy shower is basically you just go into the shower, you soap yourself up without running the water, and then you just use the water to rinse yourself off. And so it's a little bit more difficult than the Hollywood shower, but you know, that's what you got to do.
It's camping, people.
It's camping, sure. Another good tip is to do your dishes in a separate container, and once you finish doing your dishes, you can dump this into your black water tank. Usually you will fill up your gray water tank faster than your black water tank, so it's good to keep those percentages even if you can, so that you can conserve your gray water tank for when you absolutely need it.
Yep. How are we doing so far? We're not at an international, but how are we doing?
I think
because we do not have sewer here.
No, so let's see how we're doing.
31 and 25. So we're keeping things pretty close.
Yep.
The other thing that we always do when we know it's going to be pump out day, we will, even if we don't need it, we'll shower.
Yes.
We're going to make sure that when that pump out service comes on pump out day, that gray water tank is going to be at 100% because
if we know we're going to be pumped out, we will probably do both showers that day, and you know, even wash your hair, do that sort of thing. You know, use up that water space, and so that goes out when you pump it out.
All right. Good tips. C.
So you can use the bathhouse, and there'll be showers available on site at the UPMC building. You can also bring body wipes, and you can also bring dry shampoo to kind of extend that shower period.
All right, well, let's see. BRN badges we got. Water we got.
Yep.
Electric.
Yep.
Pump outs. I think we pretty much covered everything.
I think we have.
And there's one more thing to cover.
Mm-hmm.
We are all volunteers putting on this. There's a small paid staff, but for the most part, your parkers,
Yep.
your sanitation crew, your vending crew, your all these folks were volunteers.
Yes.
And I know as a fact that every single one of these volunteers is doing their absolute best
Yes.
to make your rally a memorable experience.
Correct.
I also have it on very good information that if you start yelling and screaming uncontrollably at people,
That doesn't do you any favors.
you're not going to get parked sooner. You're not going to get pumped out quicker. I guarantee that's not going to happen. But if you have any other tips and tricks for the International Rally,
Yep.
leave a comment below,
Yep.
and people can check things out and
Yep.
learn a little bit from each other.
Yep.
So if you like this video,
Give us a big thumbs up
and if you think you've earned a subscription, click subscribe.
and comment below. Also, if you have any questions for us about arriving at the International Rally,
Because we can answer them.
hopefully we can.
And we come out with RV and Airstream related videos just like this one every Tuesday.
Thanks for watching.
And we'll see you in York.